In this video, I'm taking you with me to one of Mexico's most charming colonial cities, Santiago de Querétaro. Known for its colorful streets and historic aqueduct, this UNESCO-listed town really surprised us. April was the perfect time to visit. Warm weather in the 80s, blooming jacarandas, and plenty of cute cafes. We stayed at Hotel Hidalgo in Querétaro's historic center. It's the city's first hotel established in 1825. I wasn't a big fan of the vessel sink because whenever it's in use, water tends to go everywhere, but there was a vanity and we got a room with a balcony. It overlooks Calle Francisco, which is one of the most iconic streets in Querétaro's historic center. This street is a vibrant pedestrian corridor that captures the essence of the city's colonial charm and cultural energy. Beautiful during the day, but when the trash collectors would come through with their carts at 5:30 in the morning, not so charming. After a much-needed shower, we admired the casona or mansion transformed hotel. Casonas, as you'll see in this video, are very common in this region. They reflect the architectural style and urban planning of the Spanish colonial era when affluent families, religious orders, and officials built them with thick stone walls and inner courtyards. The first thing we did was get some lunch at the hotel's restaurant downstairs called La Llave, which serves traditional Mexican food and is quite popular with the locals and super packed with a wait on the weekends. After lunch, we walked over to our 1-hour city tour on an adorable classic Ford truck we found on TripAdvisor. We did the tour in Spanish, but it is also available in English, and there was a few locations in town that you could choose from. We chose to visit the Aqueduct and the Barrio de la Cruz. I really enjoyed doing this sort of tour when I previously booked a tuk-tuk in Paris because I feel it gives you a nice overview of the city you visit, and you cover quite a bit of ground as you get to learn about the city.
Casas muy estrechas, que a lo mucho tienen un patio interno, la escultura en piedra de una cruz pelona, o sea, no es un palo, atravesado por otro palo, ahí en el interior, y que, según la leyenda, es lo que esculpieron los ítems, gracias a Luis. Vaya, se cree que en realidad es varios.
After the tour, we walked over to Pla de Armas, which is one of the many squares in the historic center full of restaurants and music in the evenings. The real reason is I wanted to check out this dog fountain. Since we went to bed quite early the night before, we were out by 8 the next morning. Many of the shops were still closed, so we strolled around until the restaurant I wanted to go to opened at 9. Look how perfectly cut everything is. We decided to get a coffee and share a pastry at this tiny cafe, which seemed popular with the locals.
¿Tienen agüita también, por si acaso?
Hay kombucha.
Ah, está bien.
Okay.
We got there right before a line formed. Peonia Cafe opened at 9. It was a super cute brunch spot. I got a matcha and we split a sandwich as well as some chilaquiles. I can't unfortunately say that anything I got I would get again. After breakfast, we got together with the wedding party. By the way, a wedding was the reason for this trip, and the couple planned a day of activities for us. We first went to visit the small town of Bernal, home of one of the tallest monoliths in the world. Maybe it was the surrounding vineyards or the tranquility of the countryside, but this small town reminded me of being in Tuscany.
It's not good loss from the good. So what do you do now? What do you have to inform them? Yeah.
We first stopped for lunch to try some gorditas, which are a thicker form of tortilla stuffed with savory or sweet filling. Next, they took us to a vineyard. Querétaro has a semi-arid climate and high altitude, which is well suited for certain grape varieties, especially for making white and sparkling wines. Traditionally, Mexico leans towards tequila, mezcal, and pulque. Wine was more associated with European or religious use and not a common local drink. The rise of the Ruta del Queso y Vino, or cheese and wine route, brought a wave of boutique wineries, gourmet food experiences, and weekend tourism, especially from Mexico City, as local traditions changed. Nice to be the first ones here, huh? Gracias. Here's my love. We closed down the place, man. Since we got back pretty late to the hotel where most of the wedding guests were staying, they decided they wanted to have dinner at the Texas Roadhouse next door instead of going into town. Under any other circumstances, I wouldn't recommend eating from a chain food restaurant you could find back home. I can honestly say I did not enjoy any of the food, but it was a nostalgic feeling for those at the party who all studied and lived at Texas at some point together. We're actually going to go to this cafe. The next morning, we decided to try that cafe we had passed by the day before. They had a combo option with a drink and a side. We chose fruit. The food was pretty good and the presentation was nice, but the service was terribly slow considering what we got and that we were the only ones there. We planned to spend the day in San Miguel de Allende. Before reaching San Miguel, we made a quiet stop to Attoilo, home to one of Mexico's most extraordinary churches I've ever seen, the Sanctuary of Jesus Nazareno. Outside, time has softened some of the facade's details, but if you look from a distance, you can still make out the figures. Often called the Sistine Chapel of Mexico, this church is wrapped floor to ceiling in hand-painted murals that have been restored. The walls tell powerful stories: the Passion of Christ, the Last Supper, the betrayal of Judas. It's a place of devotion, penance, and history. It was a kind of stimulation overload that I couldn't stop taking in. The walls were full of stories and symbols that one visit alone would not suffice to take them all in. San Miguel de Allende's transformation over the years is striking. While its beauty and charm remain, the influx of foreign investment has reshaped the town in profound ways. This town is also considered a UNESCO heritage site. Before heading into the city center, we had a delicious lunch at a spot with a terrace. Arriving in San Miguel feels like stepping into a painting. Colorful, dreamlike, and a little surreal. The cobblestone streets and the endless churches are a clear nod to its Spanish roots. In the heart of the town, the main square, El Jardín, people gather to the sounds of mariachi. Then come the mojigangas, the slightly creepy, towering puppets whose origins trace back to Spain, and similar traditions exist in parts of Europe like Italy, especially in procession and carnival celebrations. After randomly checking out a cool rooftop bar and regrettingly not staying because we had to head back to Queretaro, we went to a popular bakery called Bernal for a refreshment and bread, of course. Back in Queretaro that night, we had a night walking tour where we got to hear about local legends through a very theatrical way. This was also found on TripAdvisor, but it is only available in Spanish at the moment.
Gente me conocía como el segoviano, por venir de aquella provincia española.
Yo vivía en el pueblo de San Martín de la Cal, detrás de la Gran Peña. Todos en el pueblo hablaban de un joven español muy apuesto. Ruedas estaba tirada justo en esta esquina. Y su cuerpo Su cuerpo estaba tirado justo aquí, sobre un charco de sangre. Pero lo más terrorífico era la figura de su cuerpo, completamente descuartizado. Gritaba y pedía por auxilio, pero imagínense ustedes, con todo el ruido de la tormenta, todos sus gatos maullando de desesperación. Y lo peor de todo, los poros tan gruesos de esta casona que no permiten que salga mucho ruido. Los gatos que se rodean su cuerpo entero.
Free show. Are these drag queens? Okay. Zucchini. The colors is. What does it all mean? I guess it's closed. Like an old pond and what do you call it? Laundromat? I don't know. I don't know. We didn't get to look into. We wanted to check out the churches that we had walked by on our first night but had been closed, only to find out that there were weddings in each of them. Of course, it was Saturday, so that's to be expected. There's a wedding here too. Right by the restaurant entrance. What are y'all eating? Okay.
This for real is decoration.
mis noches llenas de amor. Corazón, hablarle en poesía, cantarle a tu alma y llenarla de ilusión.
next day, I went out to have a brunch at a quirky, witchy restaurant, a 20-minute walk from the city center. Since I didn't have my husband to split a sweet dish with, the waitress reassured me that one dish would be filling. But I felt I could definitely eat more, so I ordered these very cool looking but super dense pancakes. The cafe theme was cool, but the food was not it. Afterward, I Ubered back to the city's regional museum, which is an ex-convent next to the St. Francis Church we would attend later. The museum offers an overview of the region's history and features exhibits on pre-Hispanic cultures and significant events in Mexican history. Constructed in the 1500s, it was the first religious edifice in Querétaro. You can learn about St. Francis's life and mission as well as that of the Franciscans. After my husband was well rested from the night before, we went to yet another cute cafe called Bal Lima. After Mass, we were on our way to try a pozoleria we saw earlier and came across this artist that really stood out to us. Her work is super cool, and I wish I could have taken this Coraline one with me, but I only had enough room in my luggage for a magnet of her head. We're glad we checked this place out because it was honestly one of the best meals I remember having on this trip. We ended the night by going to Rooftop Bar, which overlooks the main square in town. We intended to go for some drinks only since we had just eaten, but the staff said we needed to order at least one dish for some reason that still doesn't make sense to me. So we did, as well as this obviously chocolate cheesecake that goes by the name of cajeta, or dulce de leche on the menu. It was good, just misleading. Well, we really enjoyed our time in Querétaro and its surrounding towns, and we'd definitely come back. But I was even more excited to see Mexico City, so stay tuned to see what we got up to for 5 days in Mexico's cosmopolitan capital.